If you haven't already learned, your API keys and access tokens should be guarded extra carefully. Keys and access tokens are the credentials that tie developer apps to a user. These tokens allow apps we have authorized to make requests on our behalf. API keys generally help with restrictions, so you can only do certain things with certain keys, as well as traffic, so the platform knows how much you are using it. Sometimes there will be a rate limits associated with the key, so you can't make 1,000,000 calls an hour. API keys are widespread and often used for their simplicity. You can generate API keys for specific services and then use it in applications or for requests to make through your scripts. Since we are only accessing a single user's data, API keys are going to be great to us. There are some things we don't want to share with others in our code. This usually includes usernames and passwords, but also access tokens for APIs, like the credentials we just got from Twitter in our previous section. We have the ability to define certain environment variables and store them in a separate file that we will make sure we don't accidentally push to a place such as GitHub. This is where gitignore files come into play. You can generally create a gitignore with any GitHub repo, but let's create ours manually. To do that, let's add the plus file and type .gitignore. And when you hit enter, you're going to see this creates a special icon for our gitignore file. Now what we're going to do is fill it with the Python default code from GitHub. So in a Python gitignore file, all of this will be added automatically. So in our case, let's copy it and we can paste it here. Now, one thing to notice in this file is this .env file. To handle our variables, the .env files are a wonderful solution. .env is a file inside our project where we can write down our environment variables and use a Python library to dynamically define and call the variables. To do this, let's again create a file in our VS Code and we'll call it .env. And again, make sure you're just in your project folder and you'll see here another special icon. Now in this file, we will then place our key value pairs we got from Twitter in here. So what it would look like is our API key, and that's where you would paste your API key, an API secret, which is where you would paste your API secret, and the access token, which is where you would place your secret access token and your access secret. And within each of these, we are going to write export before with a space. So in our .env file, you will have these 4 lines of code, and again, replace each of these with your specific key and secret and token. And again, because it's in our gitignore file, when we upload this to GitHub, it's not going to upload this .env file because we're telling it to ignore it. And this is really because we don't want to commit our environment variables to a repo, which is why we're adding it so we don't avoid accidentally pushing it. Great. From here, let's start to get into the next section, which is where we'll be using our Tweepy package.